Good day, everyone. We are the Group 6. I am LOISE SAPNO. My groupmates are Claire TALOZA, Julia SENSORO, and Michael Pacheco. We will be reporting Aalvar Alto's background, philosophies, and works. Now let us proceed to our first reporter.
Aalvar Alto was a Finnish architect, designer, sculptor, and painter. He was born in Finland and is considered as one of the great leaders of planning, as well as key advocate of mid-century modernism. His 50-year career included work in the fields of furniture, textiles, painting, sculpting, landscape, urban planning, glassware, and jewelry. And he was Finland's most notable architect. His stature was a result of his humanistic approach to modernism, a mixture of organic resources, self-expression, and fresh progression, and his main objectives was to create an overall work of art. Alto did not merely design buildings but also gave much consideration to their interior elements such as light fixtures, glassware, and furniture. And he redesigned architecture and the furniture of public structures by placing reliance upon the foundation of performance in man's relationship with organic forms using natural surroundings as a starting point for projects. He is known for contributing his alternative technique to the machine age governed detachment, visual tedium, and structural monotony of international style during the mid-century, and he is referred to as the father of modernism. Next slide.
The art style of Alvar Aalto is International Style Modernism. The term International Style was first used in 1932 to describe architects associated with modern movement whose design shared similar visual qualities, being more rectilinear, undecorated, asymmetrical, and wide. Alvar Aalto had a classical architecture background, so his first designs were actually in that line. However, in the late 1920s, he was commissioned important projects for the Public Library of Viipuri and the Paimio Sanitarium, and soon made a shift from classicism into modern architecture, starting to develop his own interpretation of modernism, focusing on local materials and functionality. For the summary of art style, Alto's career spans the changes in style from Nordic classicism to purist international style modernism to a more personal, synthetic, and idiosyncratic modernism. And next, we'll go to philosophies. These are some philosophies of Alvar Aalto. The first one is, I do not write, I build. Alvar Aalto stated. And he absolutely did. Alvar established a distinct style and created not just building but also exquisite furniture. Example is the Paimio chair was used in the patient's lounge. The armchair's back was angled to let sitters breathe more comfortably. Next one is, nothing is as dangerous in architecture as dealing with separated problems. If we split life into separated problems, we split the possibilities to make good building art. Next one is, the beauty is the harmony of purpose and form. Next, building art is a synthesis of life in materialized form. We should try to bring in under the same hat not a splintered way of thinking, but all in harmony together. Second to the last, we should concentrate our work not only to a separated housing problem, but housing involved in our daily work and all the other functions of the city. And lastly, the modern architecture does not mean the use of immature new materials. The main thing is to refine materials in more human direction. And next, we're gonna tackle about the works of Alvar Aalto. Next slide, please.
Viperi Library finished in year 1935. Even though Alvar Aalto's Viperi Library is one of the most important pieces of modern Scandinavian architecture, it was mostly forgotten for three-quarters of a century until the media started talking about it in late 2014. Its recent renovation received the World Monuments Fund/Knoll Modernism Prize, bringing levels of interest and scrutiny to the 1935 building that had never been seen before. For decades, architects only studied Alto's idea in drawings and in pre-war black and white images, not knowing if the original still stood or was used. With political intrigue, wars, and the dedication of a few, the building went from modern icon to abandoned relic to architectural masterpiece. Alto infused the formal purity of Vipery's modern design with a material palette more typical of Finnish architecture. This stunning white stucco and glass facade is complemented by warm wood finishes inside, including a beautiful rolling oak ceiling in the lecture hall. Next slide, please. Sinat Salo Town Hall was designed in 1949 and was finished in 1951. The town of Sinat Salo, Finland was founded in 1945 on a small island in Lake Payan. A few years later, the community held an architectural competition to build their new town hall, which by then had roughly 3,000 residents. The civic complex was to include a council chamber, local government offices, a community library, staff residences, and retail space, allowing the town hall's roles to expand. The winning design by Alto is a court and tower municipal facility. The compound has two wood-frame brick buildings, the library and the government. In order to lift the center courtyard one story above the surrounding landscape, Alto used two buildings as a retaining wall. The sign at Salo Town Hall was restored in 1995. In 1993, Sinat Salo Municipality joined Jaiva Scala and its town hall was designated a landmark the following year. Only damaged components were replaced, while time-worn ones were left as is. The work was finished in time for Alvar Aalto's 100th birthday in 1998, preserving his civic center for future generations to enjoy. Next slide, please. MIT Baker House Dormitory was designed in 1948 and was finished in 1949. Alvar Aalto designed the Baker House in 1946 while teaching at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It was named after MIT's Dean of Students Everett Moore Baker, who died in an airplane crash in 1950. The site is located on the north bank of the Charles River, and Alto's ideas strive to maximize river views for all students. Early designs show clusters of rooms facing south and different approaches to increase density. Parallel blocks in echelon, fan-shaped ends, and the final giant gentle polygon resolving into a sinuous arc. Since its completion in 1949, the Baker House was undergone four major renovations. But with these changes, the attention to detail in the Baker House dormitory brought Alto style and formality to America. Next slide, please.
House of Culture. Originally built as the headquarters for the Finnish Communist Party, the House of Culture represents the pinnacle of Alvar Aalto's work with red brick architecture in the 1950s. Comprising a rectilinear copper office block, a curved brick auditorium, and a long canopy that binds them together. The House of Culture's tripartite design stems from the variety of programs which were intended to take place within its walls. The resulting bricks were not rectangular but fanned, each forming a small segment of a circle. Rounded corners allowed for greater ease of assembly, more complex play of light across the surface of the facade, and even help to protect against fractures in the walls. Next is the Maison Vicaret. The client, Vicaret, was a prominent French art dealer who commissioned Alto to design his house in 1956. He desired a house that would be able to accommodate many guests for art viewings, but also incorporated a private component. Alto specifically placed the house at the top of the site, providing ideal views to the south. The main exterior feature is the gradual sloping of the roof, which almost appears as an extension of the hill below. The exterior is a clean-cut white rendered brick. The stone is a local sandstone. Pine wood from Finland is used in the interior, while vertical wooden louvers are occasionally revealed on the exterior, as well as most prominently at the main entrance. Last is the Riola Parish Church. It is a stunning concrete form which mimics and modulates with the contours of its Italian landscape. The interior chapel's play on light is especially divine. The northern light is diffused through vertical asymmetrical ribs, which create a majestic grind of soft light which projects down onto the worshipper. The presence of light brilliantly transcends the occupier into a holy state. The distinct exterior profile is inspired by the three mountains that surround Riola. Its form is harmonious with nature, and this is present in Alto's intentionally pure geometric forms, which converge at a central point to represent the center, the church itself. That's it for our presentation. Again, we are the Group 6. Thank you.